Maritime law, you understand it. I first became aware of it when I was in high school. I worked on a boat in Miami going to Jamaica. And we go out to the sea, we go to the islands, and we go to Ocho Rios, so we go around. And I learned from the captain that the biggest fleet in the world is not the United States or England, or who I would have thought. It was actually Libya. And I said, well, why is it Libya? That's absurd. It's a little country. Why do they? He said, but that's where they register all the boats, because the taxes are so low for the corporate, which I believe is why they wanted to get rid of Gaddafi. I don't know. I'm not.
One of many reasons,
no
probably.
Yeah, but the biggest fleet in the world was registered under Libya, because out in the open sea, the law is completely different. There's a 12-mile, I believe, from any country in the world. There's international rulings that from the land, the bank. Okay. Which goes back to the land, you put your money in a bank. You put currency in a bank. Currency. The current is on the sea. It's currency. You put it in the bank. Maritime law and the history of maritime law affects commerce. It's all about commerce. Because on land, each country had its own individual set of laws. France might have one set of laws, Scotland would have another, Portugal would have another, China would have another, but on the middle open sea, doesn't matter. So currently, I believe there's a 12-mile offshore, then there's another out to 20 miles where if you have the land, the nation whose land that is, control, those laws are applied to the sea in that 32-mile area. I believe it could be 30 or something like that. The lands of America would apply to that land offshore of America. The lands of Canada, offshore. But out in the ocean, it's up for grabs. Because who can say what's where, who's who and what's up? Because it's all completely. So when they had England had these maritime laws, and they created these maritime laws to protect shipping, to protect the trade. So maritime laws, to my understanding, although I'm not an absolute expert on this by any means, to my understanding, only affect commerce, and they're all about commerce. So when someone when you think about it, you think about a lot of the terms, like on a ship, you have a deck. Well, a deck of cards, and during the 1800s, the planks on the ship, the wooden boards, were called deals. It was a deal. A piece of wood would be called a deal. So the carpenter would cut you a deal, meaning that if your deal was close to the captain, you'd get a better chance of getting your price in bartering. So they were cutting you a deal, like in cards. The deck, you cut a deal, or in business, they cut a deal. It goes back to shipping and maritime laws back in the 18 and 1700s. And a lot of the banking terms like bank, currency, when you begin to break down linguistically all the terms that we use, and you begin to see the historical antecedents, it starts to make sense. So maritime law is basically a law of the sea, and the laws are very different in that situation. On the land, the law of the land is one thing, the law of the sea is something else, completely different. And it seems as if the empire during the days of the sun will never set on the British Empire or something, when they were in India, they imposed that system on the United States colonial government through Alexander Hamilton, which I think why.
So we're talking 1800s.
We're talking 1800s. Yeah, I don't know. I don't propose to know every, detail of maritime law. I don't.
Yeah. But
as far as I can understand it, that was what England did through all the colonies in India and in the American colonies, and because the colonies basically said to King George, we're tired of being in debt to your currency system. We want to be sovereign. We want to be free, and we're going to create our own currency. When England, we spoke about this last time, I think, created two currency acts, 1861, 1860 something, which is what caused, according to Franklin, the American Revolution. They said, no, you're not. We're going to create our own money. And England said, no, you're not. And then they tried to impose their currency, their maritime laws on the United States, creating their own court system, create where the captain on the ship is the judge on maritime law. So in a court system, the judge plays the role of the captain on a ship, arbitrating two disputes between two different parties, just as a captain on a ship would out in the open sea. And so that's basically what maritime law is for a general overview.
Thanks for watching, everybody, and if you want to help support more videos like this, please go to the PayPal link attached and donate $1. Thank you.